I admit, when Ghost of Tsushima was released at E3, I slept on it. I saw a samurai and thought, nah, must be another Sekiro. Not my style. And soon, I forgot about it. Until I watched gameplay shortly after its release. I bought it that night, and I've gotta say, it's pretty addicting. Let's open up by looking at the star of this game. Nah. I'm not talking about the combat, or the story, or the open world. I'm talking about the wind, baby! Someone at Sucker Punch must have played Wind Waker and said, you know, it's been a while since anyone did that. But instead of directing wind to sail, you direct the wind to replace the so commonly used waypoint. I'm not even exaggerating about how much this improves the feel of the game. Besides this text up here, the UI is basically non-existent, which emphasizes these truly gorgeous environments. And then, another guy at Sucker Punch watched Demon Slayer and said, you know, we could put that in a game. But instead of water stance, thunder stance, flame stance, etc., we got stone, water, wind, and moon stances with varying movesets that offer strategic advantages. And it works wonderfully, even if you ignore all other tools given to you: bombs, kunai, wind chimes, bows, poison darts, etc., and only use the sword. It's still fun to chain attacks, dodge, parry, use sword techniques, all while switching between stances. Not to mention, at a certain point, you gain ghost mode. So, after slaughtering an enemy leader, you become this terrifying, unstoppable force. With that in mind, the physics can be a little wonky sometimes, though I have no qualms with bouncy swords. Sometimes you strike so much fear into the hearts of your enemies, they simply crumple in on themselves. Other than that, I can't really complain. Horse controls are actually responsive, so better than most. Looking at you, Red Dead. Though, there are a few quirks and features. Let's see what happens to our horse if we whistle. Nothing. What if I'm not looking at him though? Yup. Not to mention, the whistle reminds me of a little jingle I can't get out of my head.
Nice trick.
So, bonus points for that. Even climbing feels refined. Haven't unintentionally jumped off a single cliffside yet. Looking at you, Breath of the Wild. What? As far as combat and general gameplay mechanics, Ghost of Tsushima receives legendary marks in my book. But you want to know what doesn't receive legendary marks? B-roll. Nope. Sorry. Been watching too many cooking videos recently. What I meant to say was story. The story leaves something to be desired. It's a samurai tale, so naturally it's obligated to make the whole thing about honor.
My honor.
I get it. They wanted to keep it very traditional and realistic to the time period, but honor is a meme. It's played out and it needs something new to keep it fresh. And their hot take on the issue is, screw it. All that stuff your uncle taught you? Throw it out the window, cause some hot young thing came along and told you, if you charge headfirst into the enemy camp, they gon' start slitting throats. And so you take your first kill from the shadows, and it's a little messy. The rest of the story is dominated by the need to gain allies and follow your princess, Khotan Khan, who is always in another castle. Here's the problem. The main storyline missions leading up to the battles, there's no better way to put it, they're boring. Half of them involve riding around with another character, listening to them explain their life story. And by the way, clicking X on a bunch of places in a Mongol camp doesn't make me feel like I'm developing a strategy. It makes me feel like I'm staring over a cliffside waiting to get into the action while NPCs exposit all over my face. Oddly enough, I found much of the good storytelling was in the side missions. Specifically, this musician who spins tales of old samurai who once wielded a legendary blade, bow, armor, or technique which you could find by following the clues. The stories felt much more intriguing, and the rewards were far greater than anything in Jin's tale. Now, just like not all the main story missions are bad, it had its moments. Not all the side missions are that good. Some are extremely generic. You'll have your refugee camps in need of help, bandit camps in need of destruction. So as far as originality goes, it can be a real toss-up from mission to mission. But that's not the best way to play anyway. Chances are, if you have any sense of curiosity whatsoever, you won't be able to go straight through the main storyline, because these little guys pop up in places just begging for you to follow them. Even if they do get a little bit derpy sometimes, just shoot a couple arrows at them, that'll sort them out. Anytime you think you're heading to an important mission, think again. That's a bird, that's a fox. They'll take you anywhere from shrines to random hot springs, bamboo strikes, places to write haiku, and peasants in need of your help. Now, I'm not going to say this game has achieved Skyrim levels of exploration, but damn if it didn't ignite that insatiable desire to explore every area on the map. Sometimes you'll find shrines on the top of a mountain that require you to climb to honor. Other times you'll find a straw hat waiting for you in the middle of the wilderness, even though there's no reason for him to think you would come. It's just a random guy waiting out here to duel me. I'm into it.
Like me.
And sometimes you find fortresses that are literally impenetrable, but that's not going to stop you from trying. This was my favorite part of the game, partly because of the lack of structure and the freedom it gave the player to explore, and partly because the rewards from exploration were actually good. Let's wrap it up though. Don't buy the game for the story. Don't even buy the game for the legendary combat system. Buy the game for that sweet samurai booty.